he needed one. He had 2 pushbacks. So even though it was only 2 pushbacks, it made all the difference. Matty.
Yeah, look, well played, guys. I took it as far as I could take it, but you made the pushbacks count, and that's what's got you the money. Well done.
Good stuff, team. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Hope that brightened up your day. See you next time on The Chase Australia.
Queensland reopens its border in time for the school holidays. Tonight, the Sunshine State gets ready to welcome tourists, while Melbourne locks down hotspot suburbs as virus numbers soar. A frightening M7 crash caught on dashcam. 6 people survive, including a police officer. A truck driver now facing charges. Shot in the leg and left to die. Police hunt a gunman over a targeted attack in Wentworthville. A jobs boom for Western Sydney, but the state government under fire for not protecting local workers. Its track record exposed. The new breath test that could prove a game changer in the fight against COVID-19. The country's lowest interest rate, 1.99%, is now the time to lock in a better home loan deal. And the Eels roll out the new turf as a young star gets set to step up for Parramatta.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Queensland is finally rolling out the welcome mat in time for the second week of the New South Wales school holidays. We can cross the border from July the 10th, but Victorians can't, with coronavirus cases there soaring and hotspot suburbs now ordered into lockdown.
Victorians kiss goodbye to freedom, locking down and locked out. After a testing blitz, another 64 COVID cases today, over 230 since Friday.
That is an unacceptably high number and one that poses a real threat to all of us.
To contain it, 36 Melbourne suburbs will be shut down from Thursday, only allowed out for work, school, shop and exercise, enforced by police and fines.
Vehicles will be stopped randomly, but in an organised and coordinated way.
The virus has left Victoria in the cold.
The border with Victoria will remain closed and will be strengthened.
Queensland reopens its borders to all states and territories except Victoria from July 10. People will be allowed into Queensland after filling out a border declaration. Those who've been to Victoria in the previous 14 days face 2 weeks quarantine. Any false claim will cop a $4,000 fine.
Australia has to go forward.
Queensland open again just in time for the second week of the New South Wales school holidays, but there's a COVID warning.
People are starting to relax a little bit too much for my liking. Don't relax.
Just as New South Wales prepares to raise a glass tomorrow to more eased restrictions, relieve businesses watching Victoria, knowing it's both welcome and fragile. Big weddings for the first time in months, hoping there's no reverse.
We're concerned about the borders now because obviously people travelling to and from Victoria. We don't want this happening in New South Wales.
The Star Casino's brand new $250 million high rollers room, taking its first bets on Friday after being delayed by COVID.
We've got some really good COVID practices, COVID safe practices, and a really extensive COVID safe plan.
The public can resume gambling in other parts of the casino tomorrow.
And let's go to Chris Marr. Now, Chris, another Sydney rally is being planned.
Yes, Mark, a protest is being organised for this Sunday by the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, they've chosen to gather here in the Domain to meet social distancing requirements, but it comes after similar protests in the city that saw thousands cram into streets. The Premier has vowed to stop it after protesters outlined their plans today.
So I'm here today as a hurting black woman, asking, please, Australia, come with us.
We'll do everything we can to stop it. We've made our position very clear.
The last illegal protest was met by a police wall of steel, Mark.
OK, Chris Marr at the Domain. Thank you. Traffic police have released dramatic dashcam vision showing a major pile-up as it happened on Sydney's M7 motorway. Amazingly, no one was seriously hurt, but a police officer had a very close call. A truck driver is now facing possible charges.
It's the mother of all close calls. Still standing, the highway officer takes a moment, no doubt shocked by what he's narrowly avoided.
The police officer was in the middle of 4 cars that collided and was struck by a vehicle, so it can't really get any closer than that.
On the M7, just after 3 yesterday, the officer had stopped a speeding driver at Horsley Park.
So the officer's got out of the car and he started to walk towards the front of the vehicle, and when he was about here is when the collision has occurred.
2 drivers stopped in the left lane, leaving the tow truck with the dashcam video to slow. But it's a B-double behind him that fails to stop. 3 people were taken to hospital with minor injuries, including the officer, who had lower back pain.
The vehicle was stopped on the breakdown lane. There was open visibility for probably about 200 metres, and some people managed to stop.
It is a miracle that that police officer walked away with only minor injuries.
The rule is if the speed limit is 80 or below, motorists must slow down to 40 kilometres an hour. But under no circumstances do they have to come to a complete stop.
You need to adjust your behaviour. It looks like from this footage people did that. They just did it in the wrong way.
Investigators will now consider charges against the driver of the B-double. Evan Batten, 7 News.
Police are hunting for a gunman who killed a man in his Western Sydney home with a single shot to the leg. A distraught friend of the father of one confronted the shooter, but he fled in a getaway car.
As the manhunt kicked off, the man who confronted the killer devastated after finding his friend gunned down.
He was sitting outside on the bricks there for ages, very, very distraught, yelling out, I don't know, I don't know.
It was one gunshot wound to the leg, which caused an amount of blood loss, which caused his death.
Robert Atkinson answered a knock on the door at 8 o'clock last night. It was a gunman who forced his way inside. Neighbours heard shouting.
It was loud and it was aggressive. It was definitely a heated argument over something.
Then
just one bang and then quiet. And then after that, when I opened the window, I see so many police cars here.
Atkinson's 41-year-old visitor ran into the home from the garage and tackled the intruder. But the suspect slipped away, taking possible evidence with him.
He had what looked like a shotgun in one hand and like a big garbage bag in the other hand.
44-year-old Atkinson was known to police, but they're still unsure why he was attacked.
At this point in time, we're treating it as a targeted shooting.
Residents saw a light-coloured Mercedes pull up at Mr Atkinson's home 2 days ago, and they saw a man run inside for a few minutes before screeching off. Last night, the killer fled in a white or grey getaway car, and detectives are investigating whether the 2 incidents are linked.
We will identify you and you will be arrested.
Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
A carjacker who bashed a woman so severely she was left in a coma has apologised to his victim in court. Sonny Addard was high on ice when he escaped from St George Hospital last July. The 26-year-old assaulted Denise Kritakakis, leaving her with terrible head injuries. She has since recovered. Addard will be sentenced tomorrow and faces up to 14 years in jail. The state government is under fire for encouraging overseas companies to bid for local work in a video obtained exclusively by 7 News. But the Premier insists her focus is on creating jobs for the people of New South Wales, unveiling a major new project in Western Sydney.
Work is well underway in Kemps Creek to build Australia's biggest warehouse for online giant Amazon.
This will enable us to serve more Australian customers with faster delivery.
The facility creating an estimated 1,500 jobs.
This is a huge boost for our state just when we need it.
The government welcoming a multinational tenant, but also under fire for seeking foreign companies to bid for local construction work.
Directions allows Australian and international companies to have access to more tendering opportunities.
This Health Department video went online a month ago, explaining changes to tendering for government projects.
There may be consequences if government agencies do not comply with...
Agencies required to
provide opportunities to Australian and international construction contractors.
Companies urged to register their interest. Labor has seized on the video, which has since been taken down, claiming it sends the wrong message at a time when it says the government should be doing everything possible to prioritise Australian companies for major work.
I thought their little video was quite heavy-handed, in fact, and it didn't demonstrate that they supported local jobs whatsoever.
The government says the video simply communicates changes forced by federal trade agreements and that locally run businesses dominate the list of registered companies.
I can assure you that all the jobs taken up here locally are by Aussies, and that's what's important.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
The Australian government has been forced to reprioritise its defence strategy in order to combat the rise of cyber attacks. The threat's so significant it's prompted the largest single investment in cybersecurity to keep our country safe against increasingly complex enemies.
How are you, mate? Checking out mountain machines. Prime Minister Morrison peers into an excavator, announces environmental approval for the giant Snowy 2 power project, then talks a more threatening type of tech.
So we are facing a much more uncertain world.
Cyber attacks. His government has announced
the largest single ever investment in cyber security for our nation.
For defence intelligence and the cyber agency that works within it, technology to share with allies and strike at threats. More than $1.33 billion, and 1/3 of that is to hire.
Employing 500 new cybersecurity experts from around Australia.
It's really about Australia having the kind of defences that will make it too expensive and too risky for China to attack us.
China, its foreign ministry spokesman on what he calls irrefutable evidence of Australian spying.
They steal information and data from other countries, jeopardising others' sovereignty and security, but they play the part of the victim.
And Beijing's tabloid Global Times accuses Australia of espionage, spying on Chinese students and using fake news to fuel anti-China rhetoric.
All governments engage in espionage.
Tomorrow, broader defence questions here. The Prime Minister will announce the first changes to Australia's defence posture in 4 years. We're told they'll include plans for new missile technology. Tim Lester, 7 News.
There's some good news on the jobs front, with the latest figures showing nearly 1/3 of workers laid off during the pandemic are now employed. But some job seeker recipients are reportedly refusing to go back to work, preferring to receive the boosted benefit instead.
Wages data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics today shows 30% of jobs lost at the peak of the lockdown in April have been restored.
In a few cases, they are finding it more difficult to get some of the casual employees to come back that are on job seeker.
The federal government claims some on the increased job seeker payment are shirking work. From tomorrow, the minimum wage will rise to $753 per week. The average part-time wage is $668. Job seeker pays $557 per week.
What we'd always said as a government, they were temporary payments, they were measurable, but they would end at the end of 6 months.
There are only 129,000 job vacancies right now in Australia. We have some 1.6 million Australians who are on job seeker.
The shift from wage to welfare has been swift. In February, there were just over 815,000 people on New Start and Youth Allowance payments. By the end of May, that had doubled to 1.63 million, costing $1.7 billion a week. Latest figures show that low-income earners are spending 20% more on non-essential items, compared to high-income earners spending 15% more, money that's keeping the economy's head above water. There's still no indication of what welfare payments will look like when the pandemic restrictions lift.
The government needs to have a heart here.
Brian Seymour, 7 News.
Channel 7's US correspondent Amelia Brace has testified on Capitol Hill in Washington, one of several witnesses called to give evidence about police actions during what started as a peaceful protest outside the White House. Amelia and cameraman Tim Myers were beaten by officers who charged in to clear out Lafayette Square.
As a reporter, I have no interest in becoming the story, but over recent weeks, many of us have been left with no choice. I've been shocked to see how many journalists have been attacked, beaten and detained just for doing their jobs.
The attack on the Australian journalists appeared entirely unjustified and unlawful.
2 officers involved in that attack have been stood down. The World Health Organisation is warning we're yet to see the worst of coronavirus as several countries now reimpose lockdowns. In the US and now the UK, cities face a return to strict measures. Britain's Prime Minister labelling COVID-19 a disaster.
Boris Johnson confronts reality.
This has been a disaster, right? Let's not mince our words. I mean, this has been an absolute nightmare for the country. And the country's gone through a profound shock.
In his first live interview since recovering from coronavirus himself, he explained at least one reason why he thinks Britain has been hit so hard.
Compare, I'm afraid, this wonderful country of ours to other European countries. We are significantly fatter.
As he vows to lose weight himself, the message from the World Health Organization is daunting.
The worst is yet to come.
A fresh spike already has one English city facing a return to a tighter lockdown, while in the US, 29 states report cases on the rise. New freedoms slammed into reverse. Bars in Los Angeles shut again. Beaches in Florida closing. Pressure on the president rising.
Sign an executive order directing everyone to wear a mask.
That's a divide still causing scenes like this.
I don't give
a Texas shopper in a meltdown after being asked to wear one. President Trump calls it a personal choice as his country suffers a steep second wave compared to the EU. In the past week, the British government has attempted to shift focus away from the health crisis to the economic recovery, with the expectation of a huge spending plan to rescue an economy deep in recession, in the face of a global threat showing no signs of surrender. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
A New South Wales parliamentary report into the state's koala population has warned they could be extinct by 2050. Among its recommendations, a koala national park that would limit expansion of Sydney's booming southwest.
Images of Aussie wildlife in distress during the bushfires seared into our memory, but saving the threatened koala is more urgent now than ever, according to a sobering parliamentary report.
But it's important that this report pulls no punches, because the government has to hear what is necessary.
The biggest blow, a warning koalas could be extinct in New South Wales by 2050 unless the government takes action. The Premier says she is.
Please know, I love koalas. I want them to continue to flourish.
This here is the roadmap.
It makes 42 recommendations, among them establishing a new national park in Sydney's southwest, stretching along the Georges River from Glenfield to Gilead, and protecting koala colonies around the Fig Tree Hill housing development site near Campbelltown. Part of the problem, koalas like to live where we like to live, or perhaps it's the other way around. Southwest Sydney, a key growth corridor for both koala and human populations. Near Port Stephens today, there were protests over plans to fast-track the expansion of a quarry that would swallow more than 45 hectares of koala habitat.
It's hard to imagine a less deserving project than the extension of this quarry.
Land clearing is the koala's biggest killer. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Time now for a check on our weather. Here's Brownie.
Yeah, thanks very much, Fergo. Cold and clear this evening as June draws to a close. At the moment, you'll notice it's sitting on 15 degrees, but earlier today, fog engulfed western pockets of the metro area. In fact, we're standing at the Blacktown Workers Club and we're trying to look towards the coast. You'll notice the fog cleared by late morning. Now, data just in from the Bureau highlights a warmer than normal month overall. You'll notice, in fact, both Richmond and Penrith reported their warmest June in something like 6 years. Surprisingly, the rains failed throughout the entire Sydney basin. You will notice it's been the driest since 2004 for most of the metro area. But as we look further ahead, in fact, we're looking at our future radar, rainfall totals building for the next 7 days. Yes, it is a dry start. Well, to most of our state for the first week of July, according to the latest model run. Of course, I'll have the detailed local forecast, top of the hour, Fergo.
Righto, David. See you then. Thank you. Police are offering a reward for information about the disappearance of a Western Sydney great-grandmother. Next, a daughter's tearful appeal for help to find her mum. Also, the moment a suspected carjacker is arrested in Casula, accused of trying to snatch a woman's car keys. California's Golden State Killer's startling new admission. Later, the country's lowest home loan rate, how to lock in the best deal. And in sport, the captain of one of the NRL's biggest clubs claims his players have received death threats.
What if this goes public? You really want to play this game?
Between Two Worlds, this July on 7.
The Rebel sale is on. Save 25% on a huge range of men's, women's and kids' fleece. And take up to 50% off a huge range of footwear. Loads more deals. Shop in store and at rebelsport.com. The Rebel sale is on. Sport is calling.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Get AHM hospital cover from only $15.75 a week. It's that easy, so you can get back to doing whatever it is you like to do. Even that. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
What are you looking at, hon?
Oh, just a little bit of T&W.
Huh? Hey, I got a package for Anna.
Wow, you're here already.
Temple and Webster. Save today on our massive end of financial year sale.
With delicious chicken chorizo pasta, mouth-watering mushroom risotto and slow-cooked lamb, dining in just got a whole lot easier. U-Food's new winter menu out now. Comfort food worth staying in for.
Is mild osteoarthritis pain getting in the way of enjoying everyday life? Try Panadol Osteo from your local Terry White Chemmart. With its unique bi-layer technology, it provides both fast and long-lasting osteoarthritis pain relief for up to 8 hours. And to keep you going all day, consider using Voltaren Osteo Gel 12-hourly. With just 2 applications a day, it gives you joint pain relief for the whole day and all night. Panadol Osteo and Voltaren Osteo Gel 12-hourly are on sale now at Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
Keep everyone entertained. Add on Xbox All Access and play for 3 months on us. Visit telstra.com/Xbox today.
The suburban fender bender. In the white car, Australia's fastest talker. In the silver car, Australia's fastest typer. Going head to head to make a claim with Amy.
Hello, Amy. I've just been in an accident. I need to make a claim. The damage to the rear of the car. It's a beamer unit, the one with the sweet interior. The weather is fine with the light southerly breeze. Good, great, lovely. So it's nothing major. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Cheers for that nice one. Bye. Done.
Whether you're a talker or a typer, claim your way 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with the new Amy app.
You're with Amy.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Some breaking news now, and a 13-year-old girl has suffered serious head injuries tonight after being hit by a car. These are live pictures. The accident is causing long delays westbound on the M4 near the Prospect Highway at Eastern Creek. The girl will be taken to Westmead Hospital. We now have exclusive pictures of the dramatic arrest of a man accused of trying to steal a car while children were asleep in the back seat. The 26-year-old was chased down by witnesses and held until police arrived after allegedly jumping in the front seat of a minivan at Casula on Sunday. He remains under police guard in hospital. Police have posted a huge reward in the hope it will help solve the mystery surrounding a great-grandmother who went missing from her Western Sydney home. It's feared 71-year-old Nadire Sensoy has been murdered. Her own son, a violent prison escapee, is a suspect.
A broken family.
I'm sorry.
Desperate for closure.
She wouldn't just up and leave without telling anybody.
No one has seen or heard from 71-year-old Nadire Sensoy in 18 months. It was here in Prospect, at her home of 40 years, that she was last seen alive.
I'm the person who's last one and saw her. I get very sad about him. I couldn't think about what happened to her.
There was no crime scene, no signs of a struggle, but Nadire's death is being treated as a suspected homicide.
We're here today to announce a $350,000 reward.
But there is a person of interest. Mrs. Sensoy's son Salim was living here at their Upway Street home with her at the time of her disappearance. The youngest of her 5 children has links to bikies, has a history of violent crimes. At his last arrest, police found guns in his car and up until May 23 was serving jail time. That was until he escaped from the Glen Innes Correctional Centre. He's still on the run.
Salim, give yourself up, mate. We need to see you, we need to speak to you.
And hopefully get some answers.
Please, if anybody has some information that can help the police find her, please reach out.
Laura Banks, 7 News.
The US Congress is demanding answers, and Russia is speaking out over claims it offered cash for killing American soldiers in Afghanistan. Reports suggest US intelligence gathered information that Russian operatives offered bounties to the Taliban to target US servicemen and women. The White House insists President Trump was never briefed because the claims weren't credible. Vladimir Putin's spokesman put it more bluntly.
Maybe I can sound a little bit rude, but this is a 100% bull.
But there's bipartisan support in Congress for an investigation. China has passed sweeping national security legislation for Hong Kong to try to quash the kind of protests that rocked the city last year. The law prohibits any undermining of power or authority, but hasn't actually been published yet. Critics fear it will crush the autonomy that was guaranteed after Hong Kong was returned to Chinese rule in 1997. The move's already strained China's relationships. The US says it will restrict visas on officials who curtail Hong Kong's freedom. Arriving in a wheelchair with a virus face shield, this former policeman is now a self-confessed serial killer. 74-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo Jr., otherwise known as the Golden State Killer, has now pleaded guilty to 13 counts of murder, crimes all committed during the 70s and 80s in California. He was only caught in 2018 when investigators linked his DNA on a genealogy website. The plea spares him from the death penalty, but he'll likely spend the rest of his life in jail when sentenced in August. The unions are squaring up for a battle with the state government over Parramatta's new powerhouse development. Next, the new green ban to protect these historically significant terraces. Plus, keeping tabs on dangerous criminals and exclusive first look inside the state's new top-secret tracking bunker. Struggling Aussies warn not to double-dip their super to survive the downturn. And why Liverpool locals are fighting to save wild Billy Goat Gruff. That's next.
He's the master of mischief.
I'm just gonna lie.
Tonight, one little whisper.
Keep this between us.
Will start a war.
This is gonna be one of the biggest bombs I'm gonna drop in this game, and it's gonna land perfectly.
It'll turn friend against friend.
We've thrown 3 people in front of the bus.
No, he's more powerful than us.
I don't trust you as far as I could throw you.
He knows all of our plans.
I need to take one of them out.
And it might even tear a romance apart.
I don't know who to believe.
New Big Brother, tonight, 7:30 on 7.
G'day guys, Michael Weldon here, back with another Coles What's for Dinner recipe for you to cook at home. Tonight it's all about my favourite pasta, carbonara. 5 ingredients: bacon, parmesan, pepper, eggs, pasta is all you'll need. This dish will cost way less than 20 bucks, feed a family of 4 happily. So to start with, what we have to do is separate out our eggs. And what I'm going to do is crack the egg whites over one bowl and then drop the yolk into that other bowl. Whites to the side for another day, yolks just waiting there. Our pasta. I like using a long pasta for my carbonara, but you can do it with a short pasta. In this pot, I've got lots of rapidly boiling water. I'm going to heavily salt, handful of salt. Just going to go straight in with our pasta, spread it around. So the next thing we need to do is our bacon. But I'm just going to use streaky bacon here, and you can see here it's got loads of fat on it, and that's what we want because that's going to flavour our dish, but also help thicken our sauce. Now, to finish off our egg mixture to flavour our pasta, all I'm going to add is Parmesan cheese. We're going to use half of it, so you have another half for another dish another day. Save a little bit more to go over the top. And we're just going to fold this cheese and egg mixture together. But one thing you do have to add loads of is black pepper. We're going about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half if you really like pepper. And we'll just have that cook down slowly. We're actually almost ready to bring our carbonara together, which is one of the joys of this dish. It's super quick to make. Now, all I do is transfer my pasta, just grab a ladle and spoon over a couple of spoons of our pasta liquid, stir it. So now we turn off the heat from our pan, but it's still quite hot. So what you have to do is just let it cool down for 30 seconds so we can add our eggs in and they won't scramble. And then with your tongs, you're just going to start mixing it together. And you're going to melt that cheese and cook those eggs. And this is where we get creamy carbonara from. And, my friends, that's carbonara done. In under 20 minutes, for under $20, you can feed a family of 4 a delicious bowl of warming comfort food this winter. That's my recipe of classic carbonara. This is what's for dinner. Thank you for watching and happy eating.
Welcome back. Construction Union, the CFMEU, has slapped a green ban on the new Powerhouse Museum project. It's demanding 2 heritage buildings be saved from the bulldozers to help preserve the history of Parramatta, just as the Rocks was saved by Jack Mundy.
A powerful ultimatum over the Powerhouse. The country's biggest construction union urging the state government to keep these heritage-listed terraces in Parramatta.
We will be here standing in defence of these buildings for whatever it takes.
Or their members won't help with the demolition to make way for a new museum.
We're calling on all contractors in this state abide by our green ban on these 2 blocks.
But their only issue is the historic buildings. They're fine with the plan to relocate to Parramatta. The same can't be said for these protesters who don't want the museum to move at all. Gathering in Ultimo today, they had a clear message declaring it an enormous waste of money.
This is madness. $1.5 billion when there's drought, bushfires, COVID-19.
Despite the cost blowout and an uncertain completion date, the Premier is committed to moving the museum, painting the protesters as selfish and pitting them against the Western Sydney community.
I appreciate there's a sentiment from people that don't think Western Sydney deserves an iconic cultural institution. I'm not one of those people.
As for the green ban, the state government is yet to respond. Nina Stevens, 7 News.
New legislation means a record number of serious sex offenders are now being monitored around the clock by corrective services. 7 News has been given exclusive access to their nerve centre, which tracks the offender's every move.
We're inside the highly secretive Corrective Services HQ, where officers keep a close watch on all high-risk offenders thanks to these electronic monitoring anklets.
We wrap it around the offender's leg, clip it in on the other side.
They have a horror roll call of offenders, sex and domestic violence, even terrorists. Right now, 949 are being watched while they sleep and when they wake, each restricted to their own precise, narrow band of movement.
And shows us our direction of travel, moving speed, battery and actual GPS location.
This new $22 million facility boasts the latest technology to track every step.
Well, I can't tell you where we are. It's one of the most secret locations in New South Wales with respect to law enforcement.
The data is recorded and stored for years, ready should police need it for evidence.
We can zoom in and we can identify exactly where a person is at any given point in time.
So we contacted the police, let them know that he was within a zone that he shouldn't be.
The anklets have a built-in alarm triggered if anyone tampers with the device.
It will transmit the alarm to here and that will process through in seconds onto our system.
In real time?
In real time.
Last year, a staggering 19 offenders tried to remove their anklets, but this year, we're told, in the first 6 months so far, only 3 have tried the same. But each one of them, a serious contender to be brought back here to jail.
My message is very clear. You try taking that off, you'll go to prison. You'll go back to prison or you'll go to prison. End of story.
Evan Batten, 7 News.
Former TV presenter Ryan Phelan has pleaded not guilty in Manly Court to allegations he assaulted his girlfriend earlier this month at their home.
False allegations of domestic violence are extremely serious. They result in the totally unacceptable victimisation of the accused person, and they also are unhelpful to women everywhere.
He'll reappear in court in August. More than 2 million people have accessed their superannuation during the pandemic, and from tomorrow, Australians will get another crack at their nest egg. But you're being urged to do your research first so you're not left worse off in the long run.
cashing in during COVID-19.
A lot of people aren't seeing it as a last resort, they're seeing it as early access to what they see as their benefits.
Since April, more than 2 million people have accessed close to $16 billion under the early release super scheme, and from tomorrow, Australians will have a second chance to tap in.
You've got to be mindful that you will end up worse off at the end of the day. When you retire, if you don't do something about it, you will retire on less money.
According to CanStar, it'll cost a 40-year-old on the average wage who accesses $10,000 from their super almost $29,000. Withdrawing another $10,000 will see that shortfall double.
I think a lot of people are seeing it as an easy fix for now without considering the long term.
But if you do decide to access your super early, you can recoup the cost by salary sacrificing. For that 40-year-old, it would mean an average $95 per month over 26 years, assuming they're back to full pay by July 2021.
This is a way of having your cake and eating it.
But people are also being urged to ensure they understand the eligibility rules in applying for the scheme in the first place. Disregarding them could mean a fine of up to $12,600. Applications for the second payment close September 24. Emily Arnold, 7 News.
Depending on who you believe, the goat we're about to show you is either a marauding menace or a harmless hanger-on. Residents at a housing estate near Liverpool think he's the greatest of all time, but the local council wants him gone.
Meet Billy Goat Gruff.
Yeah, hey.
Now, we know what you're all probably thinking. Billy looks a bit mean and dangerous. Sure, he has big horns, scruffy hair, his goatee is somewhat intimidating, but residents at Park Ridge Estate near Liverpool love him and want him around.
He's big, he's beautiful, he's healthy, he keeps the vegetation down, he is wonderful.
Look, he's just a friendly goat. But Liverpool Council isn't nearly as fond of Billy. It says it's been fielding complaints about his aggressive behaviour and his attempts to attack people. So now Billy faces the prospect of being rehomed. If Billy is relocated, Liverpool Council say they will hire an independent contractor to take him away, but Billy's mates say good luck with that because they'll be here day and night to protect him, to ensure Billy stays.
Please, leave Billy Goat Gruff alone. He's done nothing wrong.
Phoebe Wise, who took this video just this morning, says Billy is more scared of her than she is of Billy.
He bleated at me a couple of times and then he walked away.
Let's just hope that, like the fairy tale character Billy earned his name from, he's able to defeat his hungry troll and live happily ever after. Peter Fegan, 7 News.
Australian researchers are working on a revolutionary new test which could help make mass gatherings COVID safe. Next, the breakthrough device that could detect coronavirus within minutes. Also tumbling down, another high-profile financial victim of the pandemic. Interest rates hit record lows. Why now could be the time to lock in a new mortgage deal.
In sport, the Bulldogs star English recruit begins life at Belmore, but will he play this weekend?
Dry as June in 16 years is drawing to a close. First week of July soon.
The new season's here, and it's got the whole trucking world cheering.
Thank God for truckers.
Now we'll trumpet with something even bigger.
Very big.
All signs point to the wildest night of new Outback truckers tonight on Mate.
With hands-on, real-world skills taught by industry experts, you can be whatever you want to be at TAFE New South Wales. Be ambitious.
For a limited time, switch to Energy Australia and get a $50 electricity credit and a $50 gas credit. Plus, with Total Plan, get a total energy bill discount guaranteed. Join Energy Australia today.
4 out of 5 people who are blind don't need to be. A simple $25 surgery can restore sight. Please donate today to help carry on Fred's vision.
Every eye is an eye.
With delicious chicken chorizo pasta, mouth-watering mushroom risotto and slow-cooked lamb, dining in just got a whole lot easier. U-Food's new winter menu out now. Comfort food worth staying in for.
Getting back on the road is something we're all looking forward to. And at Toyota, we're here to help you do just that.
Get Kluger 2-wheel drive GX from $41,990 drive away. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Head to Macca's if a little treat is what you need and get 6 of our new delicious donut balls for just $3 or 18 chicken McNuggets and 2 large fries for $9.95.
Garnier Fructis Hair Food to nourish hungry hair. 98% natural, no parabens, with 3 ways to enjoy. As a conditioner, mask or leave-in. Fructis Hair Food by Garnier. Naturally. Hungry for more? Aloe Vera Hair Food available now.
The impacts of coronavirus are tough, and it can impact our mental health. So we need to look after ourselves.
I'm just worried about money. There's so much uncertainty.
I've been feeling down and missing my friends.
I've been feeling lonely at home by myself.
I'm trying to exercise outside most days.
At least a few of us can get together now.
I'm keeping in touch with friends and family.
It's important to take care of your mental health and be COVID safe. Find out more at headtohealth.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Now's a great time to sort your health cover with NIB. Join any combined hospital and extras cover online by June 30 and you'll get a virtual Visa e-gift card valued up to $400. Join NIB today. It's worth it.
Checking the markets now, and the ASX climbed higher on the last day of the financial year, up 83 points. The major banks and mining companies gained today, but the coronavirus pandemic means our market is 10.9% lower over the past year. Our dollar is buying 68.48 US cents. Fuel prices remain steady across Sydney tonight. The average is $1.21.9 a litre, but we found regular unleaded for just $1.1.9 at Lanier. Boeing's troubled 737 MAX is back in the air, completing its first certification test flight 15 months after deadly crashes grounded the global fleet. Tests are expected to run for several days, followed by months of further safety checks. 346 people died in 2 separate crashes. Investigators blame faults in the flight control system, which Boeing has been overhauling for months. Cirque du Soleil has gone bankrupt. The circus operator has been forced to cancel all shows due to the pandemic. More than 3,000 workers who had been stood down will now be sacked. It's filed for protections in Canada in a bid to restructure and revive the company. Aussie researchers are working on a revolutionary breathalyzer that could detect coronavirus in just minutes. The rapid on-the-spot test is well into development and aims to help change the way we battle the pandemic.
As quick and simple as a roadside breath test, that's the aim of Australian researchers working on a world-first COVID breathalyzer.
Right now, it's very intrusive, the testing. The breathalyzer will be much more user-friendly, fast and accurate.
It would work by blowing into a tube, but unlike a roadside breath test, a filter would need to be removed and then tested. The concept is in the early stages of development. It's from the same team working on a device to detect COVID-19 on surfaces.
The thing that's missing right now is the ability to identify if somebody has been somewhere and shed viruses onto surfaces that then could get other people sick.
It's based on technology already in use to detect explosives.
We reduced a 30-minute analysis to about 30 seconds.
The team hopes to have the device operational in 12 months. Sydney scientists are also trialling blood pressure medication as a treatment for COVID-19. It's hoped the readily available drugs can protect patients from lung damage.
What we're hoping is that we see less people who need intensive care, less people who will need ventilatory support, and ultimately less people will die.
Researchers will soon start recruiting patients from quarantine hotels in Sydney and Melbourne. But with coronavirus case numbers in Australia low, they will look overseas to expand the trial.
We are going to enrol patients from India as well as from Australia.
Miley Hogan, 7 News.
With interest rates at record lows, we're being urged to take advantage and lock in a better home loan deal. But could mortgage rates go even lower as the economy struggles to recover? Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with Sport, and Mel, the young Eels, says he's ready to step up.
Fergo, it is a huge responsibility for the 20-year-old. We'll hear from Dylan Brown as he turns leader. Details of his new halves partner coming up. Plus, Ricky Stewart slams player-managers in the wake of the impending departure of a star player. And with no Wimbledon this year, hear the message from the Duchess of Cambridge to all those missing the All England club right now.
This is no regular 13-year-old.
We're getting goosebumps. Couldn't take my eyes off you.
It's the night a new generation of talent shines.
You blew the roof up.
And the song.
It is insanely good.
That'll have the world up and dancing.
I think you might be one of the best singers we've ever had.
New America's Got Talent. Wednesday, 7:30 on 7.
Right here, two of Australia's finest comedians are going to be battling it out to take home $100,000. But here's the twist. You laugh, you lose.
Someone laugh!
The best stupidity you'll ever see in your life.
Calm down, Helen!
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
Loving you is easy. Loving you is never a pain in the guts.
Fresh, natural Zimmel. The easy-to-digest milk.
When you're in pain, it can feel like you're on your own. With years of training and genuine care, Terry White Chemmart are your partners in pain relief. Book a pain medication review today, available in-store or via telehealth. Terry White Chemmart, that's real chemistry.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's time to play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Hi everyone.
It is so important that we keep active. I'm really trying to track my food. I've lost 2 kilos.
Feeling good. Thanks, WW. Join today and get 40% off at www.com or download the app.
It was next level.
It only got stranger.
What? Oh, we've got to tell everyone. Hey, Gracie! Did you know some health insurers are run for profit?
Oh, what?
That's bonkers. Oh, what a quackish.
Sure is. Join HBF today for 6 weeks free.
7 News Golden Ticket School Holiday Giveaway. Now it's your chance to win family passes to Bridge Climb and Scenic World at Katoomba and a visit to the new Sydney Zoo. Over $1,200 in value. Go to our website 7news.com.au/family and enter the code word on the screen.
Welcome back. Dylan Brown says he's ready to step up and lead the Parramatta attack in the absence of injured halfback Mitchell Moses. Former Dragon Jay Field will partner Brown in the halves when the latter leading Eels host the Cowboys at Bankwest Stadium on Saturday.
The high-flying Eels will look to 20-year-old Dylan Brown to steer them around the park against the Cowboys on Friday night.
If anything, I'm excited. You know, it'll be a good test for myself. It'll be a good test for the team to see how we go without Mitchell.
Like the injured Moses, Brown's been working alongside league legend Andrew Johns and he's encouraged Brown to talk it up.
One main thing probably would just be my voice, finding a voice, because that's sort of how people respond. It's definitely something I've had to work on, coming in, being the younger one.
You can really notice how much authority he has now. Like, he's really speaking a lot louder, clearer, demanding players to be.
Brown will link up with former Dragons speedster Jay Field against the Cowboys on a freshly re-turfed Bankwest Stadium. The 7 News chopper captured these pictures of the new turf being laid late this afternoon. Here at Redfern, Souths players have conceded they're shocked that Alex Johnston will be finishing up with the club at the end of the year. Salary cap restrictions have forced him to look elsewhere, ending his dream of becoming a one-club player.
I'm really good mates with Alex, and you know, it's a tough sport we play in sometimes, and that's one of the things that comes with it.
As a teenager, Johnston played the role of a young Greg Inglis in the NRL's 2009 TV commercial, then debuted alongside the star 5 years later.
I'm definitely going to miss some of the things he has, you know, what he does on the field. Like, his speed is unbelievable, and how he can turn those half chances into tries.
Michelle Bishop, 7 News.
Ricky Stuart has urged the NRL to hold rogue player managers to account for what he says is manipulative behaviour. The Raiders have finally confirmed they'll release Canterbury target John Bateman at the end of the season. Manager Isaac Moses has been agitating for the release since last year.
Certain managers, the way they agitate clubs and manipulate communications and negotiations to suit them and them only. It disappoints me because it's so hard to build a strong roster.
Star Bulldogs recruit Luke Thompson is in an extended squad to play South, while Benji Marshall remains on the outer at West Tigers. In Brisbane, there are claims players have received death threats.
No one should be at a wit's end where they deserve to be told they should kill themselves.
The Broncos have lost 5 in a row. Swans coach John Longmire says they're just getting on with it after their round 5 home game against Melbourne became a trip to the Gold Coast to face West Coast on Saturday.
Yeah, we need to keep the game going, and we understand there's plenty of people making sacrifices to do that.
As Victoria's COVID outbreak throws scheduling into disarray, Richmond captain Trent Cotchin expects some teammates to refuse travelling to interstate hubs.
We've got guys with pending babies and other challenges or things going on in their life that we'll have to just manage accordingly.
19-year-old giant Tom Green is this round's rising star and proving he was a steal at number 10 in the draft. Aaron Finch says Australia's cricketers must be ready to play anyone, anytime after the August one-day series against Zimbabwe was postponed today. The Aussies are supposed to tour England for limited overs series in September.
I know that in my mind I'm preparing to go to England and play. Whether that happens, we'll wait and see.
New Zealand-born Ben Stokes is set to captain England, with Joe Root likely to miss the July 8 first test against the West Indies.
I would like to think that I'll be quite an open captain and wouldn't want to just that my way is the only way.
His Ashes and World Cup efforts restored faith after the brawl that cost his place on England's last tour here. Well, we'd normally be gearing up for day 2 at Wimbledon right now, but as we know, this is a sporting year like no other. The Duchess of Cambridge has narrated a special video reminding fans that once the health crisis ends, more magical moments will be made at the All England Club.
But we will bide our time until we sit on the edge of our seats again and celebrate again.
Oh, that is remarkable.
Wimbledon was last cancelled back in 1945, Fergo, a very long time ago. So many people pining right now. Can't wait to see it again next year.
She's sounding as sensible as Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah, well, 2 different sort of...
Yeah.
Don't want to say rant.
Thanks.
He was on fire.
For the first time, some Australians will be able to get a fixed-rate mortgage starting with a 1. As competition heats up in the home loan sector, it's now hoped even more lenders will dip below 2%.
A record low rate that needs a double take.
I had to look twice. Yeah, life-changing really.
Tasmania's Bank of Us is offering a fixed home loan rate of just 1.99%. For customer Mike Maguire, it'll save him around $300 every month.
We thought, look, looking at the market, get a rate out there, it's got a 1 in front of it. It is quite unique.
Across Australia, the next lowest fixed rate is Homestar's 2.06%. Both Greater Bank and HSBC are close behind on 2.09%. Yet with 578 cuts to fixed rates since April, they could go even lower as banks increasingly fight for your business.
It's certainly the lowest rates have been in really history, but you know, it's certainly unprecedented times.
It's worth shopping around. A borrower with a $400,000 loan could save more than $4,000 over 3 years just by switching from the average fixed rate to the lowest.
But it's not all about the numbers.
There's Android Pay, there's Apple Pay, and broader mobile app functionality, and all of those things can often be more important than the rate.
Banks are also cracking down, double-checking income and triple-checking expenses.
For industries that have been harder hit, self-employed, retail, travel, tourism, you can expect additional checks.
Gemma Acton, 7 News.
David is back now. Brownie, lots of sunshine today. How's July shaping up?
Oh, wet in the long term, Fergo, but the short term game is dry. Your forecast, that's next.
I'm going to do something I've never done before. Turn restaurants around in 24 hours.
New Ramsay's 24 Hours to Hell and Back. Tonight on 7.
The streets are calling. Make sure you're ready to answer. The BMW 118i from 49,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
The impacts of coronavirus are tough, and it can impact our mental health. So we need to look after ourselves.
I'm just worried about money. There's so much uncertainty.
I've been feeling down and missing my friends.
I've been feeling lonely at home by myself.
I'm trying to exercise outside most days.
At least a few of us can get together now.
I'm keeping in touch with friends and family.
It's important to take care of your mental health and be COVID safe. Find out more at headtohealth.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
There's pet stores, then there's Pet Barn. Our team of over 4,000 know everything there is to know about pets. We're experts in dog grooming and have over 800 Green Cross vets and specialists across the country. But what we're most proud of is the $13 million we've donated and the 50,000 pets we've adopted into new homes. It's what makes Pet Barn more than just a pet store. Shop now with our same-day delivery and price match promise.
Is that yours?
Huh?
Happy birthday.
Actually?
Get your kids their first phone at Optus. Visit us in-store today.
Why don't you come? Pleasures all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
The Amazon mid-year sale ends Tuesday. Get in quick to save on great deals across electronics, fashion, homewares and more. Plus, you'll get free delivery on eligible orders over $39. Shop amazon.com.au. Easy as.
Don't let this deal be news to you. Lock in full digital access to the Daily Telegraph, plus 7-day paper home delivery for just $1 a day for the first 12 weeks. Search Daily Telegraph offer.
Life happens, and you don't always see it coming. That's why Boop is here. Because sometimes we all need some help. Because you're going out less, we'll help you at home. Because getting real value has never been more important. And because whatever tomorrow holds, Booper's got your back. Booper. Because life happens.
The power's in your hands and at your feet. The BMW 320i sedan from 69,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
What's he hiding that would make him do this? I just left her for a few seconds, then she was gone. Why would they do this? Home and Away, this week on 7.
The verdict is in. COVID's impact on the value of your home. The most definitive study. Only on 7 News, 6 o'clock.
Tonight's 7 News headlines: a 13-year-old girl has just arrived at Westmead Hospital with serious head injuries after being hit by a car at Eastern Creek. Queensland will reopen its borders to all states except Victoria on July the 10th as Melbourne locks down its hotspot suburbs. And police have released dramatic dashcam vision showing a major pile-up on the M7 motorway. Now with Sydney's weather, here's David.
Thanks very much, Fergo. Sky clear tonight as the driest June in 16 years for most of the metro area draws to a close. Now, today's top was 17.7 degrees. Yes, and it's the city's warmest June in 4 years. As we go into the metro area, I should say, you'll notice maximum today, only a small variation Again, typical for this time of year. High teens overall by, well, early to mid-afternoon. As we go to the satellite data, though, you'll notice we've got this huge high that continues to drive our weather. To the south, there's a weak change slipping across the southern states. It is producing a little bit of rain, but a stronger system is expected to gradually move through tomorrow. As we go to the forecast chart, you can see that racing across the Great Australian Bight. But the remnants, of course, of this first front we're looking at should bring just a few showers, mainly to the western slopes of the southern ranges. Might get the odd drop on the southern ranges themselves, and maybe a little bit of snow as well. But the bulk of our state essentially dry tomorrow, and I think we'll see extensive areas of morning fog first thing. But around the nation tomorrow, another sunny days on the way for Brisbane, a forecast top around 22 degrees. Melbourne dry, freshening northerly winds and a maximum somewhere around 17 degrees. Perth, well, cold, showery, and a forecast maximum there of 16. For our state, as I mentioned, fog patches first thing through the eastern corridor. Some isolated showers about the western slopes of the southern ranges. Might see some snow flurries, as I also mentioned there, about the alpine peaks, but very windy at places like Thredbo, a top of around 4 degrees tomorrow. For our backyard, a foggy start is likely, and then a sunny day to follow. That fog, of course, throughout the western half of Sydney, maximum reaching the low 20s. Can you believe it? For our coastal waters, northerlies running at around 10 to 15 knots for most of the day, sustaining a slight sea on top of a low swell. For the city, yes, it's a relatively mild start to July with a forecast top there of 21 degrees under a clear blue sky. Let's move on to that 7-day outlook. Dry and windy on Thursday. We'll see freshening north to northwesterly winds, lots of sunshine, much cooler on Friday, remaining dry, and it's dry all the way through to the middle of next week. That's the latest weather. Rather pleasant start to July, Ferguson.
Looking very good, Brandy. Thank you. That is 7 News for this Tuesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.